Hello, and welcome to Form, a podcast that explores the artistry and architecture behind communication. I'm Silver Wallace.
And I'm Kate Douglas. This season, we spoke to so many incredible artists that we couldn't fit them all in, but some moments were so good, we had to share them with you.
This is one of our favorite moments from our conversation with artist Alex Peifer.
You know, it's that part of being vulnerable too. I think that's totally essential to communicating effectively. And thank you for saying that because, I we both have worked a lot with people and in customer service. And I guess I'm really comfortable with that too, starting conversation and, kind of just having a good time with people, but it's hard to be vulnerable with others. And I think if you have a certain level of experience, like talking with other people, you're used to that, but you're not used to getting in depth with them. So I think it's only with a few people that I can really, I guess, be vulnerable with. So
it's a useful skill, though, to live in. I mean, I don't even want to call it shallow waters, but for lack of a better term, I suppose, to live in that shallow territory and be really fluent and comfortable there, I think is actually a skill that I struggle with. I struggle with just making idle chit chat. I mean, I'm out here in a more rural area and everyone's waving to their neighbors and stopping on the road for a little conversation. And that is the New Yorker in me is very confused by this. And also, I don't know what to say. Yeah, suddenly all of my charm and facilities in that area leave me. So I actually really admire the ability to make really easy, friendly.
It comes, it's definitely an acquired skill.
Is there a question that is there like a tactic that you use, something that always works? You ask somebody about their blank and it's
Silver.
Yes, he does. Oh my gosh, wait, pause. For everyone who's listening, and also you, Alex, Kate is currently living in upstate New York. So everyone who's going, where is she and why is she not talking to her neighbors?
Where is she? Yeah, she's upstate. I feel like an anti-social.
Like I'm in a rural location.
I don't know.
I saw Kate for the first time. Quick sidebar. I saw Kate for the first time last year throughout COVID in October. In
November.
Between October and November. Yeah. It was right between Halloween time and
in an apple orchard.
Kate has been in an apple orchard, and Kate has been my best friend for we're going on 10 years now. And I saw this girl and she and we're making a podcast about communication, and this girl could not say more than 5 words to me when I saw her for the first time.
I'd lost all of my.
You were for fun.
I think that's maybe even different because I think I've never been able to talk to strangers in a really capable and like my mom is so easy with strangers in a way that I'm just not. I think that there's a part of me that's very distrustful in a part where sort of like, why do you want to know how I am?
Great.
Yeah. But I think what Silver's also talking is just like a symptom of COVID and really, really being isolated except for a few people. And so seeing real life humans that I love so deeply, and I have spoken to at length on the phone and over devices, just the experience of being embodied, seeing them was very overwhelming. To be honest, it was kind of, I felt a bit shell shocked, and it makes me
totally
think about the future, about how we even go back to in person. It's going to be a dramatic.
Right. I totally can relate to that. I mean, like I've spent more time on the computer these last 6 months than I can ever remember in my life. And especially, I guess, communicating, because because I'm in school now. And even aside from studying, like, you know, I've met up with my colleagues and my friends for meetings. They're just kind of casual meetups too. And it's, you know, it's like, how do you communicate, or how do you express yourself in that same way? Because I feel like body language is such a big thing, just to, especially for me, it's kind of how I, you know, make myself feel comfortable around others, or it's just a big part of us. So, yeah, I can totally relate to that, especially being overwhelmed seeing people in person.
Totally.
Go back to your you're not going to get out of this. Like, tell me how.
Okay.
I got it. Peifer has his opener is always like, so what are you up to today? What are you going to do today? Do you have any plans? Like, what's on the menu today? That is Alex's go-to line.
I do love to ask that. Yeah, I guess my opener is, how's your day going? And usually people are like, oh my God, well. And then it's followed by something going on, and then we can kind of talk about that. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, you know, try not to bring up expected things like the weather, but or politics.
LOL. I feel like, isn't that funny, Kate, how yesterday, so Kate and I have been speaking pretty regularly as of late, and we got into a discussion yesterday with someone else about how, when you ask the question, how are you? How like funny and weird of a question that is to ask someone, because it presents this opportunity for you to go really deep immediately or not. Right. And oftentimes we experience the not half of that. Right. But I feel like in service, when you work in a service industry, for whatever reason, it's the other half where people immediately want to go, that you're a complete stranger, and you ask them how they are.
Like, if you asked me, what are your plans for today? I actually think that's a more reasonable question to ask a stranger than how are you? I think that's in the scope of what I would tell. And that's a very smart conversation starter, because people are usually en route or just came from something.
Right.
I think that I understand more than how are you? Because that's where I go.
I'm actually really anxious, and I'm worried about.
Yeah, I am anxious all the time. Is that what you wanted to know? Or do you anxious?
Right.
Thank you for listening in. I'm Kate Douglas.
And I'm Silver Wallace. Check out our Patreon for more content at patreon.com/formapodcast.
This episode was mixed and produced by me, Kate Douglas. Theme song is by the amazing Warp Trio. Follow us on social @Form Podcast.